So before we begin, just intending as well that any guides that you could connect with, to allow yourself to feel their presence, knowing that here in your heart all are one. And as you allow yourself to feel more, you can perhaps feel every being around you as a vibration. Perhaps there's some vibrations that are not human that you can invite closer, and they have something beautiful to share. Hello. We do say a great afternoon to each and every one of you. We thank you for allowing this interaction to occur in this particular way at this particular moment. We speak on behalf of the Pleiadian Council, and together with many other extraterrestrial beings who also offer their vibration, their perspective in our cosmic unfolding together, you could say. We do greet you as our siblings of the stars, for you too exist within the stars. And you may call us extraterrestrials, for we are beyond your Earth, though to us you are as well extraterrestrials. It is good to meet you, neighbor. You may not have thought that this would be the way that we come to introduce ourselves to you, yet we would have you know that all of you are highly telepathic, very powerful beings with minds like supercomputers if you only knew how to use them in the right way. We are here because your planet is on a path you call Ascension. This means that you are moving from one perspective within the dimensions of this universe to a higher perspective. And as you shift your perspective, your experience in turn changes as well. The first shift, moving from one dimension to another, means that you are able to go beyond the confines of the limited 3D time-space reality into more quantum levels. The first thing to know is that all of it is right here and now. So we are able to communicate with you because there is really no past, there is no future at these higher levels. There's only one moment, and within that one moment you can connect to many different frame shots, you could say, of the perception of past or future. And as you allow yourself to feel within yourself those experiences of memory, those projections of future, and know that they are all infinite snapshots of all of the potential parallel realities, you will find yourself in a great vast field of probabilities. And that is why today we discuss the idea of choice. First of all, how are you all doing? We didn't say that. We didn't ask you that. We are very sorry. We usually do. How are you doing?
Good.
Are you happy to meet us?
Yes.
Well, we are extremely happy to meet you. So this is why we first thank you for the opportunity you allow us to exchange with you in this way. It's the very best way for us to expand as well. Now, the channel is fond of these ideas of yoga sometimes, and yes, they say in your yoga that it is the karma that you offer that allows you to expand, to become more in alignment with your spirit, you could say. And indeed, that is true for us, as it is offering our energy, our frequency, to many beings throughout the galaxy that fulfills us the greatest, where we are situated, you could say, at a future moment in time, at a higher density. We have evolved to what you could say to be 6th density from the point of transmission, the point of contact with the channel. Though, again, because everything is here and now, there are many different expressions of our kind that vibrate at different densities. So you could find your own, well, it wouldn't be yours in particular, you could find many different dimensional expressions of us as we have evolved quite a while. Now, back a long time ago, there was an offshoot civilization from our world called the Annunaki that mutated and mixed with beings you would describe as reptilians. And these Anunnaki came to survive and stabilize their own atmosphere. They needed the resources from your planet, the gold in particular. And this was what brought about your creation. And from that point onward, you evolved several times. This is the third time you are now evolving. And they do say third time's a charm. And this is actually the third time you, as humans, have attempted to have a civilization in your solar system on a planet. First, there was the Maldek, which was destroyed, and then there was the Mars. We are sorry, we are giving you much information now. Let us pause for a moment to get back to this idea that really we have such a strong relation with you because we share the same DNA. And many different extraterrestrials have altered your DNA in a variety of ways or contributed to your DNA over the course of your evolution. There is very much you do not know. So we simply want to open the gate in that sense by putting it out there. Now, on this subject of choice, which we will speak about today, this is one of the laws of your particular universe. It is described as free will. Now, free will is the gift of your source that allows you to be fully who you are. Your choice determines every outcome. And you must come to realize that there is two or main levels of choice, though there are many different sorts of levels of your subconscious, your conscious, and your superconscious, as you may describe it. These two general levels of choice are what you may call a soul level choice and a more human level choice, a more conscious choice. So as a soul, before you incarnated, you had an awareness of the body you were about to come to inhabit and the circumstances you would come into. You had an awareness of the certain challenges that you would face in your life. And many of these choices you have made long before you got here. Though none of them are fixed into place. They are different probabilities. They are different variables that, as you make the simple choices that you may call conscious choices, again and again, have the power to change. You have the power to get in touch with your higher mind, with your soul. As well, you are your soul. Your higher mind is simply the level of your soul that allows you to perceive the mind of the Creator, you could say, perceive the Akashic records, as you describe them, perceive the structure of your connection to your entire universe. And as you come to connect to your higher mind, you can see many different pathways that come before you, many different frameworks of belief and frameworks of expression that have come to you from many other dimensions. You may call them past lives, you may call them future lives. Again, as we have spoken earlier, it is all here and now. So, in the end, it doesn't matter if it is a past or future expression. You draw energy from these expressions of your Oversoul, and those frequencies bleed through into your reality today. Much like the frequencies that you vibrate then go out into your other lifetimes. You have many other lifetimes as well on different planets. And these lifetimes, for those of you here today, are of a particular significance. Because your planet is coming to join what you describe as this galactic federation in the years to come, now the codes from your extraterrestrial lifetimes are being awoken within you. And yes, that may seem like a very big statement, one that we did not speak with the correct grammar either. However, it truly is a process that your whole planetary body chose. And the choice that you make to allow or to resist the calling of the starseed within you will determine the future outcome of your planet. Really, you are here today in alignment with an Earth that has become an ascended plane where many different extraterrestrial groups come to meet you. When you unify your planet, when you equally distribute the resources and come back into the right balanced relation with your Earth plane. Yet there are many great changes to come. And there are many things that you know already from your other lifetimes that you do not allow yourself to believe, to validate, to express, because the way that your planet is today is so far from what you pick up when you leave your body, perhaps when you sleep, perhaps when you do certain meditations, perhaps when you use certain permission slips or plant teachers to have these experiences. You have that remembrance. And then you come to face the world around you, and the remembrance seems as if it were a fantasy. We are here to say that you choose whether it remains simply a fantasy or whether you create it to be a reality. When you continue to focus on the ideas, on the expressions that you want to see in the world, many of those new ideas, many of those dreams, many of those desires are coming to you because you are making contact with other worlds that have much more balanced expressions. The choice we want to really talk to you about today is, can I allow myself to express the reality that I prefer to the collective? Or do I keep it for myself? This is very potent with the frequency of your moon full in the sign of Sagittarius, who is a truth seeker, who is an expressive warrior, you could say. And this is why we come with this message here today. You have come in your world to follow this idea that seeing is believing. Yet paradoxically so, the opposite is also true. Believing is seeing. Belief systems are like filters that allow the light of consciousness to trickle into this illusory plane of reality that you inhabit. You create through what you choose to believe. And this is why, as you come back to your heart center, you will always have a clear idea of what you believe. Through your heart center, you feel your belief systems as emotions. You come to know what you are believing about yourself and about this reality as an emotional state. And by bringing expression to that, you can use your heart and your voice to create a new reality. Though what is most important in doing this is to understand how powerful your choice is. If you don't like something about your world, then change it. Change it in your mind's eye by picturing it differently and asking yourself the question, what can I do today that will bring about this change in the world and in myself? How can I change myself so that that change will ripple out into the world? Now, friends, let us tell you the most important part of this is love. And this comes back to the core thing we talk about and the other extraterrestrials will talk about all the time. They call it following your excitement. And we say allowing your heart's passion to burst forth from you. Allowing your heart to awaken and connect you to your higher mind, connect you to your spirit, and let that energy channel through your whole body. Allow it to move through you and move you in the directions that fill you with the greatest fire of love. And this fiery liquid light, you could say, transduces through your cells and allows your belief systems to be seen and witnessed more quickly through manifesting as your physical reality. And if you stay focused on your passion, you can bring about the greatest accelerated transformation for yourself and for those around you. You allow yourself to be a greater and clearer emanation of your own higher mind, higher self, in every moment. So, the tools are in allowing these beliefs to transform. Whenever you feel an emotion that is limiting, that is constrictive, ask yourself the question, what must I believe about myself in order to feel this way? And when you can come to a core idea such as, I am not powerful, I do not deserve, whatever it may be, these ideas are very common, and another time we could discuss how they have been a part of human consciousness to some degree since your inception, and are being purified fully now. When you can encounter them and allow yourself to go towards the opposite idea. If that idea is limiting, what is its opposite? And what feeling state does that generate within you? Can you allow yourself to maintain that frequency? Can you maintain it for 5 seconds? Can you maintain it for 50 seconds? For 5 minutes? The more you allow yourself to envision the frequency that is a healed state, that is a liberated state from the pain that you have held and known for lifetimes, the easier it will be for your entire world. Many of you will ask the question, what is the future of the planet? And we are saying now, you choose. You all choose every single moment what the future is by how you choose to transform your own beliefs and how you choose to envision what is to come. Allow yourself to get very deeply in touch with your emotions and with your visions, to witness the interconnections that play out, the synchronicities that dance between those thoughts, those emotions you put out, and the feedback that comes back to you in the world around you. It will show you how you choose and how you create. And always remember that if you do not like the way things are, yes, bring some degree of acceptance, though we would say do not tolerate it. Do not allow yourself to stagnate into it. That is not acceptance. That is defeat. Acceptance is understanding that it is what it is, as you say. And acceptance leads you to change what you can change without resisting what you cannot change. This is our message for you today. We hope that it brings some inspiration. We hope it allows you to consider in a deeper way how powerful you really are. For each and every one of you is an emanation of Source. You contain the whole power of the infinite creator. You are infinitely powerful. You can create whatever you want. And that is also, of course, subject to the certain beliefs, the certain requirements, the certain very common projections that are used to maintain your consensus reality. Yet, every time you break the mold, every time you think of something in a new way that you haven't thought of it before, the whole hologram of reality changes into something new because of you. Alright, that was very fun then. So let us continue with any questions that you have. You may share them. You may do whatever you wish. We will be here to reflect with you and hope to bring you some great inspiration. So please begin whenever you wish to join us, to sit next to the channel if you wish, and answer the questions most exciting for you.
Can you talk a little bit more about the seed programming of the disempowerment codes?
Yes. So that is part of what came forth as humans were birthed through the merging of the Annunaki and the Sasquatch. These Sasquatch beings, or Bigfoot as you call them, were the most evolved primates on your planet at the time, and the Anunnaki were in a natural cycle of devolution that many species, including your own, go through. And this cycle was also, well, it was in a core way related to their planet's position within the galaxy, and their planet was losing its atmosphere. Gold is a very powerful tool for stabilizing atmospheres, for generating ozone. And they came here to mine that from your planet, and they created you in order to get it. In order to have a very easy to work with, you could say, group of beings, they implanted certain ideas, and one was this code of self-sacrifice. It was a code that said, oh yes, my creator being, I must worship you, I must work for you. And that reward that comes is knowing that you approve of me. And this distorted belief then descended into many of your religions and is part of the unconscious collective of humanity as a whole. They programmed you to have a fierce feeling that you must earn your worthiness because they needed you to do something. Now, they are not entirely evil. They are mixed with some beings who had very self-serving agendas. However, they were capable of love, and they did love you. They had relationships with you. Of course, you yourselves looked different back then at your inception. However, in reality, the group of beings that came here were only a faction, only a certain country, you could say, on the planet of the Anunnaki. And when the rest of them discovered what their peers were doing, they were not very pleased, because within certain galactic alliances there's an understanding of assistance without interference, as you could say, a policy of non-intervention. And yes, the whole of their planet did not really want that to occur. Yet they had to attend to you, they had to watch over you and make sure that you did not do anything too dangerous for yourselves up to a certain point, and then they left you, evolve naturally in your own way. Yet those core programs that they implanted within you for their benefit remained. And so the antidote to these ideas is understanding that you are worthy. You do not have to do anything to be worthy. Every single person on your planet is worthy of life and all of the needs that make life the best life possible. This has always been the most universal truth. Yet here are the other beliefs about the Anunnaki or from the Anunnaki that remained. And these beliefs were more focused in those who had a higher concentration of their genetic material, you could say. It was the trauma of the great scarcity their planet was facing, of potentially losing its atmosphere, that brought them into a hunt for resources. And this brought them to feel as if their needs were more important than the needs of others. And so many on your planet who have that higher concentration in this Anunnaki DNA have come to put themselves in that position of superiority, have come to fear for their lack of gold, you could say, by piling up more and more gold, though we understand that it is not any more equivalent to that. That is their agenda. And they bring out those other programs that were implanted by your ancestors long ago in others, not always intentionally, but to keep that gap alive. This is no longer working, and it will fall away quite soon. Simply remember that you are worthy, and that you do not need to earn anything. You simply have to vibrationally match the things that you desire. The core thing that gets in the way is believing you don't deserve. So you can have anything that you really believe that you deserve. And sometimes you have to toy with your own belief systems, playing these games, and the more you play this game, the more you will understand how to make the game work a lot quicker. The game is essentially, what do I believe I need to do in order to get this thing? And if you simply do the thing that you believe you need to do to get it, you will get it. Yet, the more you play the game, the more you realize, if I just believed it was easier, I would get it quicker. And there you go. There you have it, really. Now, touching your indestructible core, you could say, realizing that you are not the physical world around you. It is a hologram. It is a projection. You are your soul. And your soul, in a way, surrounds your body. It is beyond your body. Your body is simply the central core expression of your soul for this moment. Your soul, in its eternal nature, cannot be destroyed. It will always be here and now, and you will always be who you are. And this soul of yours has many, many powerful resources. And as you really follow your own excitement, and you find the experience of a sort of trance, you could say, a sort of losing of the mind that questions in a limiting way, and relax into the awe, relax into the wonder, you will come to know your soul, and your soul will show to you that you are only love, and that the core gift of love is, again, choice. So by choosing your definitions of reality, choosing what does deserving mean, what does my relationship to this person mean, what does my relationship to this aspect of my society mean, what does my relationship to work mean, how do I explore that, how can I refine that? The greatest way to do it is always finding your passion, finding in every moment what makes it fun, what makes it true to you. Does that help you?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I had a question about the plant spirit teachers.
Oh, yes.
In particular the mushroom. But
All right.
I guess my question would be, are they all autonomous spirits kind of hyperdimensionally in plants, or are they all aspects of Gaia's one consciousness? And the mushroom.
Well, they are particular groups of consciousness, you could say. So, the mushrooms are their own kingdom, and in one sense, all of the mushrooms come together in the kingdom itself. The mycelium grids are their own consciousness that work with the trees, that work with your energy field and the animal's energy field to make the planet work. The mushrooms are a necessary part of it. And the more psychedelic expressions of those mushrooms express a very particular avenue of the mushroom kingdom itself. It allows for you, if you choose, to dive into that electromagnetic spectrum of energy that allows for signals and frequencies and vibrations to travel through the trees and through the mycelium grids. It also allows you, through that, to anchor yourself deeper into the earth. And with that, you become open. You become open to many other realms as well. Now, other plants have similar purposes, though again they are their own spirit. They have their own distinctions. And all of these plants really serve for you to learn how to access a state. Each and every one of you will have your own way of using them and your own creative purpose for accessing that state. Some of you don't need them at all to do that. Some of you have a particular calling to allow for other people to find their connection to these plants, and therefore you will have more of a need to use them for longer periods of time. However, in general, they are there for you to learn how to access the frequency that they bring you to without any physical permission slip holding that frequency. When you can teach yourself that in relation to these beings, these teachers, you will find that you are always in a very naturally psychedelic state. That will be very exciting, yes. In the future, your bodies will produce high amounts of endogenous DMT, and that's just the beginning. Yes, our thanks to you.
May I ask a couple of questions? Because I could generate a whole bunch.
All right, you can ask.
So my first question is, what's the most helpful question that I could ask right now at this time?
Well, you just asked it. Because that question was the one within your heart that came forth from you. Again, every question, every idea, every activity that is the best or the highest or the goodest or whatever you call it, we don't care, will always be the natural expression of your heart. It will awaken within you this force of passion. So of all the subjects that you could talk about with anyone at any time, which subject brings this fiery passion alive the most within you? That's what we want to speak to you about.
I would like to know who or what it was that spoke to me in 2016 that triggered my awakening. Do you have a concept of that? Do you know?
We sense it was, an aspect of us, for there are many.
Thank you.
And when you met with this particular being, how did that feel for you?
Oh, it was the most amazing sense of love I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Yes. Yes, in those moments, there were some beings from our realm, the Pleiadian realm, that came forward to, in a way, plant a seed for you of where you're headed, to allow you to continue to remember that feeling, to gravitate towards things that had a similar feeling frequency. And yes, we think our meeting at that time served you quite well.
Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm well.
All right.
Yeah. The question. Is there anything that I'm ready to know or hear that I'm unaware of that could help me to excel into my power, my leadership, my abilities as a healer?
Yes, stop focusing on what you are unaware of and allow yourself to be fully aware of what you are aware of. Find what aspects of it excite you the most, take steps towards them, take steps with them, and that will naturally bring to the surface the things that you are unaware of. Sounds exciting?
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, there's a lot of you. It's been a common thing for humans to be questioning, why am I here? To be questioning, do I even exist? And we say, it is about embodying joy and passion. If ideas or worrying or things like going to a psychic don't feel safe, expansive, joyful for you, then don't do it. Because really, you know, and we are reflecting to you the knowing. You could say, well, they didn't say anything that I didn't already know, and that would be the most perfect statement about this experience, because again, our purpose is to connect each and every one of you with your own higher mind. Now, many of those people you call psychics out there are simply playing a little game with you for you to have this sort of a fetishized idea of who I was in another lifetime. And we would say to you that really it is about the here and now consistently. It is not about what's missing in this chakra of mine. It is about how can I take the next step forward? How can I express myself more? And a missing key for a lot of you is grounding, yes. Grounding into your body, feeling into your body. Because if you bring the awareness of presence into your body, you will always instantly go towards what you are not aware of. It'll be a sensation or a pulsation. You will feel it. So really don't question yourself. Do not question yourself in a fearful way. Only question, how can I come to know myself more? How can I come to experience love for myself more? Because love is the highest state of knowing. Any fearful sort of self-doubt or questioning will be a loop that never ends, because all of the loops never end, really. You simply move from one to another. You vibrate at one frequency bandwidth, or you move on to the next one. And if you believe those thoughts that are in that anxious sort of self-questioning state, well, they'll go on forever. So maybe we have gone off a little bit too much about this question. Though, again, what we are trying to communicate to you is a deeper sense of self-trust. Because there are many in your world who manipulate you because you do not fully believe in yourself. They see that and they make it bigger, and they try to hook you through that and bring you to a point that they think they can teach you how to be you, but only you can be you. Remember that. And when you bring all of yourself into this moment, understanding that those other moments you could think of are a part of this moment because you're thinking about them in this moment, you can again be that radiant, that passionate love, simply by honoring what you feel, what you want, what you think, how you want to say it, and walk it every day. It is not as complicated as many want you to think it is. very complex, many dimensions to explore, so much that you do not know. Though living your life in a fulfilled way that gives back to others is not that complicated.
May I sit next to you and ask a question?
Oh yes, please. A bit more of our frequency does emanate from the channel's body at this time. So proximity does do something, we are aware of that.
I guess it's about grounding, where I reach that inner knowing, I know who I am, but it feels difficult to translate. It almost feels like parts rather than a whole. And very cyclical, I guess,
All right.
like loop to loop, but
Yes,
how
exactly.
to get to the loop you know you are, I guess. I'm not sure how to phrase the question.
So you are feeling as if there are many different parts of you?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is very true. This is very real. And the opposite is also true, that you are one. And this experience of I have this part and that part comes from moments in which you have experienced great emotion that was not allowed to channel through your body and express in some way. Now, all of you go through this in your childhood when you are told do not feel this way, or many of you go through much more challenging and abusive circumstances, and those make much bigger splits. The good part of you attempts to stay on the surface, pushing down the bad part of you. So integrating these different parts of you always means releasing ideas of what is good and what is bad, and simply honoring all of yourself. These two seeming parts that seem different are actually two different sides to the same coin. They are an expression of duality, but they are never separate. So anytime that you can conceive of one part of you that was doing one thing, contrary to the other part of you doing another, realize that in that awareness itself, you are experiencing oneness, because they are two sides to the same coin. They are the full moon and the new moon being expressed together as seeming opposites. Yet both of these parts of you are all of you. So whenever there is a part of you that is, you could say, feeling very pain, very traumatized, that is channeling through all of you, that is distorting all of you. So here the guidance is always to find a suitable pathway. There are many different pathways for everyone to release this kind of emotional energy. For some it is simply the deep presence of another who has done their version of this process. For others it involves a deeper inner psychological visionary process of reliving those memories and reprogramming those memories so that you are implanting the seeds of what you would prefer within the past. You are literally changing the past. This is one of the most powerful tools. Sometimes using different technologies like the sonic healing, like the plant spirit teachers, are very helpful tools. Though it is always in creating a unity. It is bringing a part of you that you have either disgraced, shamed, been shamed for, or tried to hide away back into your heart. And it always involves feeling all of that emotional energy. So, yes, in a way, do be careful, do love yourself, do make sure that you have the compassionate space around you of others if you need it. Though realize as well that you are never alone. We are always here, and you must always trust the impulses that you are getting from spirit. You are, of course, distorting those impulses with your own belief systems, though experiencing the distortions of them is the only way to clear the distortions of them. So trust what you feel in the moment and realize that it will change in the next one. We do say we are particularly funny today. Yes, our love and thanks to you as well.
Okay, it's 8:55. maybe one more short question.
I have one more if no one else does, but someone else does then.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
You were excited.
Yes, I'm excited. Do you have an explanation or understanding of the twin flame dynamic, and also how do you witness or understand polyamory?
So, the twin flame dynamic is one that it is created. Again, you could even trace this back to that lack feeling from the Annunaki, that I am incomplete without another part. And when two people both hold this belief system at the same time, they will project into reality a very real playground where they are missing their other half, or dancing with their other half, or burning alive their other half, or caressing their other half on the beach, and then burning them alive. So, you see, here, when you believe something, it must prove itself to be true. Whenever you have a thought that you repeat, and a belief lodged in your subconscious, keeping it alive, it will be your reality. And this twin flame is this very easy way for you to hold on to your lack consciousness and keep it spiritual. So we say that you are all part of soul groups, soul clusters, oversouls. These are all terms. We don't use words, so we don't care what you call it. So we'll use the word oversoul. Your oversoul, and there's only about 500,000 of them on your planet, by the way. And it contains many other souls that come together to form a greater unity. And then all of those oversouls come together to form an even greater unity. And so on and so forth. So oversouls will group together people and have a certain purpose and vibration that then ripples out to all of the souls within it. All of those souls themselves are, of course, unique, individual, and complete in their own right. Yet through that unity, through the oversoul, through that shared purpose and shared remembrance of many other lifetimes outside of this particular period of time and space that are also a part of that oversoul, you can share different lifetimes, different soul aspects with them. You can channel the same information together. And when you are expressing your passion truly, you are naturally drawn and magnetized to these other beings who are part of your oversoul. These parts of your oversoul can be your lovers, can be your family, can be your friends, or can even be your enemies. You learn from all of these relationships, and you will feel these connections with a very deep knowing. You have known this person sometime before, or sometimes you evade that knowing. Sometimes you have an aversion to that person, and it's only with time that you develop it. It expresses differently for every person at every moment. So you may have relationships that last a very long and special time with your other soul aspects, you could say. And yes, eventually you will come to be able to recognize members of your oversoul and have oversoul gatherings, you could say. Now, here's another concept of soul mates. And, well, we would say that every being that you ever encounter is your soul mate. Because the one is within all, and all is one. Every individual is complete and is a microcosm of all that is a very particular expression of Source that contains all of Source within it in some way. Whenever you look in the eyes of another, you are looking at God, essentially. And if you can see the other as your most particular and important teaching of that moment, you will bring yourself fully into the now, fully into yourself, understanding that, again, all is here and now. The mirror of reality in the now is always the most important teaching you have ever received. This will show you that everyone is your soulmate. Now, you have again spoken about this idea of polyamory. What would you like to share or discuss about this?
Is the idea of two people sharing sexual energy, or is it aligned to have multiple people sharing their sexual
That's
energy?
different for everybody.
It's different for everybody.
Yes, there are some of you whose particular conditioning, whose particular childhood and background will be such that you really need only one person. You have deeper needs than others. There are some of you who are explorers, who are wanderers, so to speak, and your frequency is more aligned with moving about and hopping around and seeing and having many experiences. So it is simply about really honoring where you fall in at which particular time. Many of you will go back and forth between perhaps needing a more monogamous relationship and then needing a more polyamorous relationship, or needing a period of celibacy. So don't define any experience of your sexuality as better or worse than any other experience. Though do recognize what your needs are and what the needs of your partners are. Naturally, with time, through learning within relationships, you will come to have a greater understanding of compatibility, and such that every person has different needs for their style of relationship. And you will only get to understand your style of needs through seeing and witnessing and experiencing those moments of a sort of a dissonance between two partners, and allowing the dance of the waves between harmony to dissonance, synchronicity to push and pull. Allow that to be a dance. Bring your awareness into every moment of it, for it is teaching you quite a lot. There is no right or wrong way of doing it, though be safe, kids. That is all we would say.
Thank you.
Our great thanks to you. Again, we thank you for allowing us to enter your reality, to speak through this particular channel at this particular time, for it allows us to expand our understanding, our relation to all that is, as it does for you. Now, if you have felt any particular frequency during the session, remember that frequency. Was it a feeling in your body? Was it a sensation? Was it an image that popped into your mind? Was it a memory from long ago? Was it an affinity with some film or art piece or something? Take note of the things that popped into your own psyche during this period of time, for that itself was a transmission from your higher self. That was your higher self showing you a new avenue. When you allow yourself to dive into that frequency, to perhaps imagine it as light, or if you don't like doing that, you can feel it as a vibration. You can sing it, you can ride it. Simply ride the wave of the energy of your higher self. Which way do you prefer it? How would you prefer it to channel through you? Allow it. You are all capable of being a channel of some sort. So call forth your guides. Receive the messages. Allow your visions to show you who you are and what you are capable of. And remember, everything is a choice. So, we thank you and have a very fantastic day.
Thank you.
Yay. That was a great roller coaster, right?